Okay, so it seems that we got some more problems going on with VTubers and overall kind of platforms for social media content, right? Now, if you don't know, obviously we've talked a lot about MegalodonVT and her kind of involvement in talking about some of the issues over at Twitch and how they really, drop the ball in terms of how they count their viewers and essentially dropping a lot of streamers viewers just through people not interacting with the chat, right? And she even revealed this on some of the kind of analytics that she showed whenever she played a game and chat interaction was less. The viewer count did drop, but the user count stayed the same, meaning that it just wasn't counting their viewers for whatever reason, right? And she's been very, very vocal about that and how bad Twitch has been recently. But it seems like now recently she's actually made another post calling out another platform, which you guys can probably tell by the thumbnail of the video, which is YouTube. Now obviously this is the post that came out, and this has gotten very, very popular over on Twitter in the last couple of hours or so, and it obviously says, YouTube, you mean to tell me that you have my tax info and pay me monthly, but you can't verify I'm an adult? And obviously this is I think that YouTube have been implementing recently with a lot of the UK stuff that's been going on, but also has been implementing pretty much everywhere else. And they've been putting in a system essentially where you have to verify your age to kind of browse on YouTube itself, which is pretty interesting considering they have two separate apps already, YouTube Kids and YouTube. Why don't the kids just go to YouTube Kids and the adults go to YouTube? I don't know, but anyways, obviously it seems like they have a verify age system, which a lot of people aren't very happy about. But obviously it's even more frustrating for a lot of accounts like Megalodon, and also for like me and any other kind of YouTuber that is partnered and is monetized on YouTube, right? Why would we have to put in our verification? Why would we have to verify our age when they literally pay us and have our tax information? Like, right? Like, we literally give them all of the information that they need whenever it comes to payments, right? And including a lot of information about that kind of stuff and AdSense and all of that. They have all of that information. But for some reason, they still feel the need to verify our age using either like a passport or like a driving license or something, which just strikes me as a kind of oversight that they kind of like almost purposefully did, because I feel like the main reason why this is the case isn't because they just kind of messed up and they're like, oh, sorry, we forgot to add that, like, whatever. I think it genuinely is because they can't be bothered to make it. They can't be bothered to implement a system where, they find out, okay, this person has their information already on the monetization bit, but also B, because it gives them extra data, because we all know that, obviously tax information and all of that kind of stuff is one thing that they have already collected from you for monetization, and well, this just gives them an opportunity to take something else like a driving license or a passport or whatever, which will obviously verify your age, meaning that they have more, right? And we've already seen like huge breaches and stuff with like Discord and places like that, where essentially stuff gets leaked, and this is a big problem for VTubers because the main part about being a VTuber, or for a lot of VTubers, not all of them obviously, but most of them do it for anonymity and not wanting to kind of expose their like IRL them in person, right? And that is something that many VTubers are very, very worried about, and has people concerned about a lot of the age verification stuff, because we don't know where this is going to, where the information is going to, and where the driving license is going to, and how it's linked to their account. Because if someone goes ahead and hacks it, well, they could easily go ahead and expose a lot of information to do with a certain VTuber on the platform, and we know the kind of people that lurk in the VTuber community sometimes, right? They're not exactly the nicest of people and will go out of their way to kind of, do some pretty horrible stuff, even if it does mean hacking the literal verification, kind of database for YouTube, right? And we can go on to other posts as well. People saying, this is my tax info and bank account info, yes, and you have this info to pay me what I earn, that's correct. And children can't earn money on your platform, so that would be child labor, sounds right. So then I'm certainly not a child, but an adult. It said, please verify that you're an adult by either submitting your ID or taking a selfie. Which, obviously it feels like a crying emoji. Said, you're only going to be watching Cocomelon from now on. He said, this answer any possible questions you might have. which, yeah, it seems like, you know, a lot of more people as well are calling this out, including Cottontail as well, saying, who's running YouTube nowadays? This is so funny. He said, they got you on the She Files taxes and say minor allegations. YouTube might be washed low-key, which, yeah, 100% is true. You know, a lot of people, you know, are pretty frustrated by this because it's just an extra layer of information that you have to give these people, which you do, you know, you shouldn't have to give, right? It shouldn't be the case, but for some reason they are so insistent on you, yeah, providing ID and providing all of these other forms of information that, you know, essentially can be stored up in kind of databases and stuff. And it's just terrible to see. There's been more people as well, including obviously Chibi Reviews here saying, we live in a clown world, never expected 2025 to be like this. And yeah, I mean, it is pretty crazy, right? That, you know, we've gotten to this point where essentially you have to have multiple systems set up with multiple ways of gaining your information. And for some reason, you know, they just completely ignore the fact that, yeah, you do have your other information, your bank account info, your tax info, or whatever on there, and they still can't verify the fact that you're an adult. I think that's pretty crazy that, you know, in 2025, a company cannot do that. Now, as I said, we all know the real reason why they're doing it is because they want to collect more data about you and collect as much as possible, right? But again, it's still not a good look, especially with a lot of YouTubers commenting on it, right? It said the Google jail you go, you can only watch Cocomelon and Elsa Gate slop from now on. Said neither you nor your neither your tax info nor receiving payments indicates anything about your age. No, because again, I don't think, you know, I've believed that a lot of the information that you give whenever it comes to your Google AdSense and stuff like that is, you know, confirming your age, right? It's not necessarily the fact that you're getting paid or whatever. It's the information that you give when you're getting paid is the factor that obviously is included. Obviously, there's been some people replying to that as well. They accept YouTube has a policy where if you're below the legal working age, you cannot directly collect funds on them. It all has to go through a parent or carer who manage the channel and monetization, which, yeah, is true. And then they say, like, AI has limited access to your data, but this is just lazy programming. I thought I was going crazy when YouTube started telling me to go to bed early, but who else is going to watch Halogy and Philosophy at 2 a.m. in the morning? Which, yeah, obviously, it seems like they just, it's one of these situations where people want to collect more data, and I think that is the way. It's not even just lazy, well, it's a mix of lazy programming, but also, yeah, a factor of them wanting more. I mean, I don't know what the quotes are saying on this, but again, yeah, people saying this happened to me too. Best option is picking up an email address that be used. Nowhere in how I'm letting YouTube obtain my face nor ID card, which is also another problem that some people had. You know, not even the fact that they had to show their ID or something. Sometimes they like include like face scans as well. And as I said, with face scans, you know, VTubers have a very big problem with face scans because, again, it is a literal picture of their face. You can't use a fake face. You have to use your real face. Now, obviously, some people have found a way to get around it, but, you know, if you want to do it correctly, you would have to use your real face, which, you know, many VTubers are not willing to do, which also presents another problem. The same with the ID card, though, because usually that will have your face on it too, which, you know, many people are not going to be happy about. People saying, yo, I don't trust any social media platform to age verify, either with ID photos because of one data breach later and you're doxxed. Governments making laws that are massive threats to privacy and security of the citizens, and we're not making enough noise about it, which, yeah, I think is 100% true. You know, tons of people saying I hate YouTube and stuff as well, because, again, I think that, you know, with the recent Discord breach, it kind of shows us how easy it is for them to gain access to this data and how lost it is once they do gain access, right? You know, once they have that, once it's all downloaded for them, it's pretty much over. You're screwed as a user. You are screwed because, you know, they have your ID, they have your verification. They, you know, it might even be the case that, you know, this person is going to go out and maybe like dox you on the internet or something, because chances are they probably don't really care about who you are or like how big of a VTuber you are or a creator you are, but they will still try to use it for other, you know, cases of fraud and stuff, using your ID for that kind of stuff, which again can also be a pretty big problem. And yeah, obviously we've seen it with Discord and other places like that already, you know, losing this data. And it's just a matter of time before it is YouTube next or any other platform that is doing this, which, yeah, is pretty insane. But yeah, that is essentially everything on this situation at the moment. I just thought I'd cover it because, again, It's picking up a lot of traction at the moment, and obviously Megalodon has been very vocal about what is going on over at YouTube and also at Twitch. So again, I'll keep you guys up to date if there's anything else going on with this, because it is a very interesting situation. But yeah, if you guys did enjoy this video, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe. Also, yeah, go to GameStop, use my code Kazo, get 10% off again. They've got a ton of really cool stuff over there. And yeah, I'll see you guys in the next one. That's all. See ya.